I think agents are also part of that problem, though. The standard practice is like, well, the first 10 days, and if we can't, then it's a reduction. I don't really like that formula.
I don't either. And I think it's a disservice to their broker and to the seller for sure. It's not appropriate because what you're doing is you're basically just saying, well, let me guess. Well, how about you're getting hired because you're a professional and you're not supposed to guess, you're supposed to use objective data. And then they don't. Everybody's crying foul with the market crash. Some people are saying the opposite.
Because of the sellers that I mostly deal with that are absentees they're just tired landlords for the most part that are kind of on my radar. The deals that I'm kind of pursuing are, I want to say, agnostic to greater market conditions. It's not about the interest rates or anything like that. It's just time. They're like, yeah, I'm ready to go. Or yeah, I want to sell. Or they're like, yeah, I need to move. It just seems mostly now that the people are looking to thin out the herd or maybe want to sell before the election. I've got one person who said that.
Real estate's always local, right? Even in the crash of 2008, the housing market dipped in some areas 60%, like Las Vegas and Phoenix.
Yeah.
But what happened in Buffalo, New York? Year over year appreciation at 3%. So totally unexpected. Who would have guessed? Well, people who are paying attention would have guessed. You know, that's why I say it, because we need to be those people who pay attention.
From a market perspective, what are you guys seeing in kind of your hotter areas like Indy and Ohio and whatnot?
Well, there's Indy, Ohio, and Florida. And in all of them, we're seeing price reductions. In Florida, most of them are coming down 10K within the first 30 days. And that tells you something. So if a property's on the market for 2 weeks and then there's a price reduction, what does that tell you? There's fears that this will not sell at the price it's currently listed for.
Right. I think agents are also part of that problem, though. The standard practice is like, well, the first 10 days, and if we can't, then it's a reduction. I don't really like that formula.
I don't either. And I think it's a disservice to their broker and to the seller for sure. It's not appropriate because what you're doing is you're basically just saying, well, let me guess. Well, how about you're getting hired because you're a professional and you're not supposed to guess, you're supposed to use objective data. And then they don't.
Right.
They're guessing. So yeah, I totally agree with you. I definitely have bones to pick about realtors who do that. You know, like that's the difference. So we had this as an example real quick, just as a market condition discussion, kind of answer your question. It's in Florida, but we have since sold this deal. We interviewed several different agents. And one of the agents that we interviewed were like, well, so what do you think we could sell this for? And we already knew. We already ran our numbers. And then he's like, oh, yeah, just looking at the market, you could totally get 210, 215, or whatever. We don't want to get too aggressive, but, you know, I would say that at tops you could get 230. You want to guess as to what our exit was, knowing that what we thought it would sell for?
What did you think you were going to sell it for?
180 to 190.
Okay.
Guess what it sold for?
195.
190. So we got this agent blowing smoke as though, and because they're trying to win the listing.
Yeah.
So there's commission breath. But what would have happened if we would have listed it for 215 or 230, like they said, which is crazy? It would have sat on the market, and our lenders would have gotten paid, and we wouldn't have been able to sell the deal.
Right.
And then egg on our face, like, you're the professional. You know what your numbers are. You're in the market. You're there. You talk to more sellers than the agents do. Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
Oh, for sure.
Basically, we've seen the market continue to decline over the last year. Florida price cuts across the board at 10% on average.
Yeah.
No correlation with 10K price cuts. That number 10. In Indianapolis, Indiana, it's very similar.
So you're seeing, I mean, in terms of price cuts, though, it's what, like 10, 15% off? Because Indianapolis just seems like there's not a lot of properties over the $250,000 price point.
Right. Florida's the worst. Florida's the 10%.
Right.
Okay. Indianapolis is not 10%.
Yeah, because I mean, I would say the bulk of properties is under the 170 mark across the board in that whole county. Because I was looking at that last night, actually.
Yeah.
Chattanooga is an interesting one because it's a growth market still. There's a lot of churn, so it's like I haven't seen price reductions because it's more just price dislocation. It's almost like the entire place is a price arbitrage strategy. Like, okay, there's not a whole lot of apples to apples. There's a lot of things being built, developed, and turning around. How do you come up with a number that makes sense? Well, you either have done a bunch of flips or somebody who says, yeah, that's a good deal or not. So that's been the problem with Chattanooga is it is a good market, but you get caught flat-footed for things that are kind of out of your control. That's been my experience since day one. But so it's not an easy market to wholesale in, but it also makes it profitable because not everyone wants to wholesale there. So
right. Yeah, totally.
Quick epic announcement. If you're generating leads but struggling to close deals, we want to partner with you. We'll get on the phone with your leads and secure the contract, whether it's a cash or creative deal. And lastly, if you're struggling to sell a wholesale deal or creative, we want to find you the right buyer. Just go to closeanddispo.com and scroll to the bottom of the page for more info, or check out the link in the description of this video. Together, we'll make real estate investing easy.